Just to give you guys an update on Dwayne's F20V swap that we are currently busy with. I managed to pick up a harness last week Friday, and I started just taking off all the sleeving and all the insulation tape and depinning some of the plugs that we don't need and adding plugs that we do need. So we are probably a day into the harness, and yes, it's taking quite long. It's my first one that I'm actually doing, and it would probably be cheaper just to buy one from eBay or from Speed Science, but I mean, to save $400, we're probably going to try to build our own one. I mean, we've got most of it is all sorted out. We still need the body harness of the EG that I need to incorporate with this harness, and then we should be ready to try to crank the vehicle. We receive all the fitting lines for the fuel system, and we just need the oils, and then we probably could start maybe in a week or two at most. We can try to crank this vehicle. And then coming back to my vehicle that I've currently busy on. So this is my 1997 Honda EK sedan, or ballade as it's called in South Africa, and I am gonna do a engine swap, but B series. A lot easier, a lot faster. I do have all the parts. It's just scattered around everywhere. Sorry for the mess, but I've just been so busy the last couple of days trying to get most of these things sorted for Dwayne's vehicle. And if you come this side, I've got the bottom end done. So I've got ARPs. I fitted ARPs to the bottom end. It's got stock rods, stock pistons. It's a B20, so I am going to go b20vtec on my vehicle. She's fairly clean. Clean inside, clean interior. It was my daily for about 4 years. Sorry for that mess. Those are all parts that I've been accumulated. So I've got an all-wheel drive B series that's made it up to a B16A2 motor. I've got the blades that I'm busy refurbishing, but like I say, everything takes time, slow progress, but we are getting there slowly. There is a car meet coming up in about 2 weeks time, and I really would like to get at least Dwayne's car started and my car running. So I've got everything laid out, most of it is clean. Yeah, I just need to put everything back together. Another extra head that I need to take some parts off, but yeah, then we can get going. So yeah, I have my B20 bottom end that I got from the junkyard. I've just refreshed it. I put some new bearings in, new rings, thrust washers have been done. Just refreshed. Nothing's been bored, oversized, nothing. Everything is OEM, and we're just going to torque it down to OEM. So the first step is the main bearing cap bolts. They're two in sequence, step 1 and step 2. So the first one is 25 newtons. Now that that's done, we can go to step 2. And in the manufacturer's manual it says 76 newtons. Just to mention to you guys, I've already done plastic gauge to check the oil clearances, and that's all good. Like I said, nothing has been changed, everything is stock, nothing's been altered in any way. So I've done plastic gauge, checked everything is 100%. What I want to do now is just to make sure that the engine still rotates. I do have some, it's not dry rotation, there's some oil on the bearings. Everything is still smooth. Just to confirm, I'm always paranoid when it comes to torque settings, especially on the bottom end and rods. You don't want stuff flying out of the block. Now that that's all done, everything still spins freely. We can go on to the rods. Like I've mentioned previously, I do have ARP rod bolts that are fitted just to be on the safe side. Here's the part number if you guys are interested. So ARP has their own torque sequence or their own torque specifications. It's on the little pamphlet that you get with your ARP rods. They are stretch method, so I don't have an ARP stretch bolt indicator that you put between the cap and the actual rod tip. Let me see if you guys can. There is a little hole there on top, not a hole, like a little indent, and you actually measure the stretch. I don't have that, so I'll just be going off the actual torque setting that they give. Also, I have plastic gauged oil clearances on the rod caps just to make sure that my oil clearances are within specifications, and they are 100%. Actually quite surprising for the engine or crank with such high mileage. Everything still spins freely, and I'll just be double checking. Cool, that's done. Hopefully that's all 100% and we don't have an exit window at high RPM. They'll still feel there's movement, everything's torqued down. So I'm happy with that, and we can proceed to the next step. I'm just going to put you guys on time lapse and then see you guys shortly. Now that I've got the block all cleaned up, the surface has been cleaned, I've got the dowel conversion pins or the dowel pins from B20 to a B16 cylinder head. That's been put in. I've got my studs that I'll put in shortly. Just a cheap Repco cylinder head gasket. There's the part number if you guys are interested. I know I need to modify it a little bit for it to clear over the dowel pins, and then I'll be going to the cylinder head. Got the block nice and clean, got the head gasket on, got the dowel pins in for the conversion B20 to B16, got the studs on, I just tighten those up snug. That's a B20P that I got out of a Honda Orthia. It's like an EK station wagon type. I'll put a picture on the screen if you're outside New Zealand and don't know what it looks like. But yes, let's get on to the cylinder head now. I want to try something on the cylinder head. So I'm getting ready to fit my B16 head that I've put together onto my newly freshly built B20 bottom end, and I actually want to do a dual valve spring setup on the exhaust side as well. So on the B16s you've got a dual valve spring on the intake side and a single valve spring on the exhaust side. So I've got extra H22 head here that I've removed the exhaust valve springs just to compare the retainers, top hats to the actual B16, and I've measured them with a vernier and they're identical. The sizes are exactly the same. The inner spring sits nicely, and on the B16 it sits correct. So I'm thinking of just taking the exhaust sides off and fitting inner valve springs, so then I've got dual valve springs. So what I'm doing is just sliding it on to the studs, the washers, just makes it a little bit easier. Just the torque settings on that particular head gasket, but also I am running ARPs, so I will be going off the ARPs. The motor is almost complete. Everything is torqued down that needs to be torqued. I've got some K20S injectors, I believe they are, with some extended top hats to accommodate the B16 fuel rail. Got an AEM fuel pressure regulator and a 70mm throttle. I did off camera port the inside just to port match it to the 7mm throttle body. That's all been done, and yes, we are getting closer and closer. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys soon.